Good evening. And I'm glad everybody made it out. With me tonight is, of course, the lovely Lady Styx, who's our office ogress. This is where you say hi.
Hello.
There she is. And we have Todd, who's our line developer for all things Aetherstream.
Hello, everybody.
And let's see who else made it. Let's see, we've got Ducky. Ducky, you want to say hi?
Quack.
That's good enough. I think we've got a few others. I don't know that they all want to be introduced, so I will give them a second in case they do. They do not. But if they change their mind, they can jump in because we're like that. You guys are welcome to talk at any point. You're welcome to type questions if you don't want to talk. This is our Gencon aftermath. Can you hear how great my voice is doing?
You're sounding better.
Right? It's not fixed, but it's better. I have a new plan for next year.
T.
Well, no, we tried tea this year,
Oh.
which is why I have some voice whatsoever. So they make these voice amplifiers. I'm going tech. Ducky will be on my side. Todd might too. I'm going to go tech on this. So it's like a microphone that goes into a speaker, but it's battery rechargeable. But some of the other booths had them to help save their voices. So that is my plan for next year.
I think I saw an Alistair cosplay running around with one of those.
There's a few other companies that had them. So I'm thinking that this, with tea and honey, might be my best plan yet for next year, anyhow. If I go, I think Ross is going to make me go. All right. Let's see. I think I want to start with the best. Let's just start with the best. What's your best Gen Con story? I want to pick on Todd first because it's fun. You like
well,
it?
all, all I did was run demos most of the convention, or hang out at the booth. So I definitely say running demos was a lot more fun than hanging out at the booth. I know some of you people like the booth stuff, but it's a little too crowded in there this year for me.
Actually, I limited down quite a lot from other years.
But yeah, as far as demos go, I think they all went really good, and everybody that showed up to play, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun for me too, running people through the game and introducing them to the new rules for Leviathan.
What was your favorite? Or your favorite moment from a demo?
Well, probably my favorite moment is finally in the very last demo of the last day of the convention. In Leviathan, there's a rule: if you roll a whole bunch of tens in a row, you blow up a ship in one shot. And we finally got to see it happen in the very last shot of the very last demo. It was like perfect timing.
Well, that's a heck of a good way to go out, unless you're like picking on me like Ross does and blowing up my ships. No, I have not
Well, I
forgiven
don't think
him.
anybody was picked on, so
I have not forgiven
it
Ross.
seemed everybody had a lot of fun in that game. So that was a fun moment.
All right. How about you, Ducky? You have a favorite story?
You really want me to tell the story, don't you?
I do. People like happy stories. I like happy stories.
All right. This is going to be a bit of a long one because this was my first Gen Con. I did have fun over there with Todd watching the games play, with Phil with playing Interceptor. But what I did on Saturday is, my kid's non-binary, my nieces and female, I try to support them where I can. So I have a free dad hug shirt with Dads in Rainbow. So Saturday I'm running around, I got my hat on, I got the shirt on, I'm expecting to give out hugs. Get a few handshakes, a couple hugs here and there. But that's not what did it. What did it for me is about 5-ish, 5:15. I started going down to the block party for the Gen Con Discord meetup. I'm walking down the pinball alley, and on the side, there's a couple young over there in two of them in cosplay. She goes, "Can I get a dad hug?" Sure, why not? I go over. She stands up, give a good hug. Then I go into dad mode. And I'm telling her soft, I'm telling loud enough for her to hear, loud enough for her friends to hear, but still softly saying, I'm proud of you. You're doing great. You're perfect the way you are. Laying on the dad stuff. At that moment, she starts squeezing hard, digging her fingers into my back, and starts crying into my chest. It's like, oh crap, I hit a nerve. So it's all right. Take as long as you need. I'm not going anywhere. And I keep telling her I'm proud of her, yada, yada, yada. And she's whispering, I didn't know I needed this. Her friend is sitting down. She's smiling. She's looking up, says, yeah, she needed this. And we're there for about a good 1 to 2 minutes of her just holding on and crying. And, we get done with this. I make sure she's okay. I get a picture with her, walk off, do the Discord meetup. On the way back, I check in on her, I make sure she's okay. She says yes. She saw a baby, stroller come by with, something odd, looked like in jail, and she had a good laugh about it. All right, no big deal. Got a picture with her and her friends. Moving on. The story actually continues online. And this is all part of one big memory for me, which made this absolutely unbelievable. I post a story on Reddit in Gencon sub. Tell them what happened, be nice to people, yada, yada, yada. First, I saw you going down the hallways. You look like you're on a mission. I didn't want to disturb you, but next year I want to get a hug. I told her, I'm always on a mission, but I will stop to give someone a hug. Another one came in, said they were passing by as it was going on. She saw it for a few seconds, and that's one of her now core memories of Gen Con. The last one that struck me, and this one hit deep for personal reasons. She said, I wish my dad died 12 years ago today. I needed a hug. This was my first Gen Con. These memories are not going anywhere. This was absolutely the best outcome I could have ever expected.
I think that's really sweet. But we were talking about this a little bit before everyone got here. There's a lot of really nice people at Gen Con. It can be very sweet. And I think that that's a really sweet first Gen Con. You can be proud of that.
Absolutely proud of that.
Let's see. All right, Todd. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Wait, do I get a chance to tell you my non-attendee favorite Gen Con part?
Well, heck yeah.
Okay, so I obviously stayed home and attempted to keep up with Discord and answering questions and email, all that stuff. My favorite was seeing how many people came in, especially to Aetherstream on Discord after they played, and how excited everybody was about specifically the models. And that was very cool that several times each day I got a little shot of, even though I wasn't there, still seeing how much everybody was enjoying the new release. So that's my non-Gen Con story for this year.
You're gonna make Todd blush. Are you blushing, Todd?
Maybe a little, but no, that's awesome though. People see the models and stuff. That's hard work of the artists and Don and all of us trying to just put out the best thing we can and get people excited about it.
Hey, Brad. I'm glad you made it. We were trading stories that were happy stories from Gen Con. You got a happy story, favorite demo moment, something?
I had some good ones from the rest of my crew. They had a pretty good solution that I hadn't anticipated for the demo. So the demo we had this year was a Samsut story. players of Samset characters, the British have found some sort of device to disrupt their control of the undead, so the group is charged with going out and tracking it down and having to deal with it. What the solution that the group had decided to come up with, there was the group the British that had been out on patrol that they managed to track down. They took them out, and then to get into the final stronghold to get to the final device, rather than walking in and going in as the adventure intends, what they ended up doing was taking one of the rapid control spikes, taking one of the British commanders that they had taken down and making him into an undead, and just walked him in there, dressed him up like he was an injured man, and just had him walk to the fort to get addressed. And they had raked up a timed explosive that they buried in his chest. So by the time they got him in, he went boom, and then the whole facility went boom.
So they marionetted a Trojan horse.
Basically, yes.
I love it.
I did too. So let's see. All right, we're gonna start with you this time, Brad. What was your favorite FOSSA release this year?
Well, of course, I'm a little biased because I have my own line. I am particularly proud of the Samson source book we've got. There's a lot of work from the entire crew that went in there. I think we've all been pretty proud of it. The covers art's amazing. We got Andrew Gustafson to do that one, and just all the different writing and stuff. My particular favorite part of it, there is a character in there who I have very heavily based off of Quark from DS9 with some of his quotes. Some of his quotes are just directly rules of acquisition put in there. But he's kind of a shady character from the Samset that the British are interviewing for info on his people. So he has to be motivated by money. So the motivation just seemed to fit.
Let's see. Todd, I bet you I might know what yours is.
I'm sorry, I was answering questions in Discord, so I was not paying attention to
It's
the
okay.
question.
What was your favorite Gen Con release from FOSSA? Yeah, I figured it was
That's a
going to be a
tough
hard
one.
one for you.
Well, obviously being able to actually see some of the ship models, was very exciting. Definitely for me, Leviathan related stuff.
See, it's easy for me, but it's a different answer.
It's the dragon, isn't it?
It was the dragon. Usen looks so good. All of the dragons have looked good. They have. But I just really liked how Usen came out this year.
Well, Sonny certainly agreed when I put the dragons down in front of him. He was sniffing most excitedly.
Did you give Usen to Sunny?
I don't let him chew on them. I just put him down so he can see them.
Now hold on. I will say this. Mountain Shadow, Gotti ran off with him and I had to get him back, and then Batsy ran off with him and I had to get him back. So Mountain Shadow has survived, But both of those are not super chewers. They don't tear up their toys. I'm actually afraid to let Dragon play with any of them because Dragon he's a monster. There's a third chair. Oh,
Sonny's very good with his toys.
Oh, Mr. Pink, you didn't see the stuff. Yes. Secretly, we've been.
Give me a sec. I got a picture of all three.
Okay. Put it up. But yeah, secretly we've been developing Usen. And in part
I did put the Sunny pictures in the internal channel if you wanted to share those.
Hold on. Got one at a time here. I'm putting up the pictures of the three. So you can see Mountain Shadow, who's our first in the picture, and then Alamaze and Usen. and they're adorable as always.
And they're currently sitting on top of my armbar, protecting everything and looking for coin.
I see that. But yes, we've been secretly working on this for a while. It takes us, we actually got asked, and it takes us about a year from concept art all the way through. Now let's see if I can go to find a picture of Sunny really quick. Are they in the Fuss Internal, or are they just an animal
Yes.
companion? Fuss Internal, okay. Well, it helps to know where I'm looking today. There it is. Oh, no, those are great pictures. Hold on, let me get one of those up. There we go. So, it's a picture of Sunny sitting on a couch with a blanket and all 3 dragons. And Sunny is looking as if Sunny is very sad that you will not let Sunny chew on any of the dragons. That's what that looks like. Poor Sunny. Not getting to chew on the dragons.
He's really not that big of a chewer. Mostly it was just I had just gotten home, and after we had sat for a little bit, I was putting dragons out so he could see. So I think it was more just him wanting to cuddle more.
It was the puppy pout of, why are you playing with them and not me?
Well, because Brad was also gone for quite a while. But yeah, no, we've been secretly doing this, and in part because if I remember correctly, Alan Mace was supposed to go out with Grand Bazaar, but because Grand Bazaar hasn't gotten out yet, we haven't sold Alan Mace outside of Gencon. So when Usin came out, people were like, wait, what? When did the red one come out? It's like, the red one actually came out last year, but we're still trying to get it shipped out with the Kickstarter stuff. So we haven't sold it outside of that yet. So, but yes, there are 3 dragons. We now have a green. We have Usin.
Will they be available on the storefront?
Alamaze will be after, I think, the Kickstarter ones are shipped out. I don't think that we will until after that. Usin, I don't know when we're putting Usin up. We may not be able to until the actual full production run, because that was one of the things that we had was some of the stuff we got in was what's the term, Todd? Pre-production proofs?
Sounds right.
Yep, that sounds right.
So we didn't get very many. So until we get the full production done, but eventually, yes. Because I don't think Ross wants me to keep all of them at my house. Because, I mean, that's the other option, is we don't sell them. They just live in my house, and I just fill a room with dragon dolls. That's reasonable. Okay, it's not reasonable.
I'm amassing a small army of plushies. I mean,
okay, let's see.
I got ducks, I got dragons, I got Battle Mech over here somewhere.
Yeah, no, like I said, Alan Mays, I think, is supposed to go out with Grand Bazaar, Mr. Pink. So if you don't have the 2-way shipping and you're waiting for the book, that's why Alan Mays isn't up on the shop. Because I got Kickstart people who need him. So let's see. I had another question, but it's going to be bad, and Todd, I don't know, will have an answer. Brad probably does, but Todd might not. I was going to ask, outside of FOSSA stuff, what's the one thing that you saw that you had to take home?
Well, I don't have an answer for that because I didn't get a whole lot of time to go looking at other stuff this year. So
you have to look while you walk to the bathroom and back. That's when you shop. Bathroom and back. There you go.
Well, yeah, in the demo hall though, there's not, or where we're running the miniatures games, there's not any product really out there. So I didn't really get a whole lot of time to look at stuff this year.
You can walk from there back to the table. When you go back to our thing, you have to learn to shop on your way to and fro.
People, it was crowded.
Bathroom breaks, what are those?
Got to drink water for that.
I
Yeah,
had
exactly.
water. I had a flat of water for every day. Just so you know.
But was it
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, but I think most of that just got burned up as sweat.
That part's possibly true.
True.
Sorry, Lady Styx. What was that?
I was gonna say, but it did actually get drank.
Not enough. I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of a little worried that people were not drinking enough because I probably had 4 flats of water and I left over a flat in the hotel room because I didn't have room to take it home, which is a hilarious story, by the way. But okay, what is worm span, Todd?
As far as I understand it, it's Wingspan, but with dragons.
Oh, I don't know what wingspan is.
But I never played Wingspan, so I just did a little demo of Wormspan and figured it'd be something to try with my wife. So
Awesome.
picked it up. They had them. They were sold out, except for they had a few open that they were ran on demo. So I'm like, well, I better grab it. It looks popular.
Okay. So, really quick, on the way back, we close out the hotel room. I've got Phil and Dave and Zach and everybody's stuff because we had to tear up Dave off at his vehicle. And as we're packing up everything, I've still got this flat plus of water. And I'm like, forget it, just leave it. We don't have room for it. And Dave's like, we do too. We shouldn't just. I'm like, Dave, there's not going to be room in the vehicle. Just trust me on this. There's not. So we get down there, and Dave's kind of kerfuffled that I didn't let him keep the water, right? Because he finds it wasteful, and I'm like, it's space. Space is finite. We get down there, and they're packing up, and everyone's got stuff like under their feet. It's piled up to the roof. There will be no looking out the rearview mirror because you cannot see anything. My entire lap is covered, so I don't know that it's even possibly legal to be driving like this for poor Phil because you can't see really out that side of the car. And as Dave's trying to squish himself into the vehicle, right? I look over at Dave and, hey, you want to go upstairs and get that water after all? And he just starts looking at me. There may have been some shopping that got done.
Yeah,
How
I was
about-
gonna say it sounds like you had convention rules of acquisition that coincided with the vehicular space warp that occurs anytime you always have a little extra when you get there because you plan for this acquisition, right? And
Mhm.
yet come home, you're like, what happened? We have less stuff, and yet we have no space.
So,
Yeah.
like, when we went down, there was only me, Zach, and Phil. Dave had to bring his own vehicle up because he couldn't take off as many days. And so, like, we were there. And then, like, I sent Phil to get Dave because Dave had to park his vehicle out near the airport because parking downtown is atrocious, right? But then on the way out, we had to take Dave to his vehicle. So we have Dave's acquisitions, Dave's stuff. You would think that this would be fine because I no longer have a 6 by 8 foot banner and 3 boxes of stuff for the booth and all that. No, it was not fine. I had 4 humans and all of their purchases that filled up that space.
I was gonna say, some people did some purchasing there.
Yes. There may have been miniatures bought. I don't know who or how. No idea how that works, but there may have been miniatures bought that I surely didn't need because I own a whole lot of other miniatures that aren't painted yet. But okay, Brad, what about you? What's your favorite not FASA item that you saw or bought?
Well, the one thing that I had to get for myself, I picked up a set of obsidian dice.
I saw those. They're very
I,
pretty.
I I always get some set of dice for myself, and I tend to like more the exotic materials, not just more acrylic stuff. unless there's like something particularly cool or interesting about them. But yeah, so usually I'll go through like the different stones or metals or that sort of thing. But this year was obsidian.
So I did not pick up the Earthdawn dice because the 11 packs were gone and there was very few of the 6 ones left. There was a few left of the deluxe in the wooden box dice roller sets, but I wasn't sure how many of those we're going to have left because I know some of the Earthdawn team was picking those up. So I didn't pick up Earthdawn dice. However, I know that those are eventually coming here. I will say I did buy other dice, some of which were acrylics, but very glittery. Very important that they're glittery. But I think I'm having a hard time deciding which one's my favorites right now. I found magnetic dice. So it's dice, but they're magnets, and they magnetize to each other, kind of like magnetic sand. And then I got another set, probably some of the same place that you got your obsidian. They have the fake opal. So, because real opal, I used to be a jeweler. Real opal will not be made into dice. They can't be cut like that. They will break very, very quickly. But they have a fake opal. And I usually don't buy such expensive dice because I'm always afraid I'm going to lose them. Because I'm not mature enough to keep track of my stuff. All right, Mr. Ducky, what about you? Did you have a favorite FOSSA item? Do you have a favorite not FOSSA item?
Yes. Although I did get to play, Interceptor a little bit, excluding the plushies, because I was already expecting to go and pick them up regardless. I got a set of all the production sample dice. And whenever my buddy has some time, we're going to sit down, we're going to play Interceptor, work it out, and I'm going to be using those dice. So I love those. And the 1879 coin.
Oh,
For
so you got
non-FOSSA
all the
items,
space dice.
all the space dice.
All the space dice.
All right, I'm a little envious. Space dice. Come on, Andi.
So, well, I mean, the boxes are space. They're space dice.
Oh man.
I
As
did
for
not bring you
the
back space dice. I did bring you back one of each dragon.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. I also brought you
For
back a
non
couple of the Earthdawn Foresighters. Because I didn't totally screw up. I just partially screwed up.
for the non-FOSSA stuff, of everything I got, I think it's actually going to be something I bought for a friend of mine. Because I was picking up a whole bunch of stuff that everyone wanted, and I found a booth over there in there that was the whole aesthetic of it was for neurodivergent, ADHD, those kind of people. And the game was designed around it. Was designed for kids. My friend is ADHD, her kid is ADHD. I picked up, gaming RPG samples and everything I could in there, and bought her a Dino plushie that they had. And I'm going to send all that to her whenever I get a chance. I sent her pictures of everything. It's like I sent her a picture of the booth, started walking off, and not even 2 minutes later, she had looked them up. She had favorited them, and like she's just having a ball because it's something that she can play with her kid that also works with her. So yeah, my favorite non-fast thing is that Dino plushie that I got for her. It's something I'm going to keep.
Well, let's see. Todd, did you get a piece of pretty art for your wife?
I did not.
How many
Unfortunately,
times did I tell
the
you?
I know the print we wanted, she didn't have. So
Oh, really like that one for her.
unfortunately, I
Yeah.
know that was nice, but so sadly, I did get a card though. So I'll see if I can get it online.
Okay. At least show it to her and be like, "We thought of you." I don't know if that'll count.
It'll count. She's cool like that.
How about you, Brad? Did you pick up something for a friend that was cool?
a couple of just odds and ends items. I have one friend who is just starting to get into role gaming. He started weird because he got the Mountain Dew addiction first. So I picked him up a set of Baja Blast color scheme dice.
That's cool. I have a friend, and they were down here for AndyCon, and they tend to like kind of cutesy games. And no, 1 second. We haven't moved them off of YouTube yet. This is only the second podcast. We have a question, and we're going to put this on Apple Podcast, and it is something that we are hoping to work towards, is putting the podcast on a couple of other platforms. But that's a good question. But there was this one that Morgan actually pointed out to me a couple of years ago called Household or Households. And it was explained to me as something like if the Littles met Game of Thrones. But I showed it to her, and she really liked the art, and she thought it was really cute. So I picked that up for a friend because it was kind of cool. I also
And it
picked
will
up.
be
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I was going to say you also see copious amounts of play, I'm sure, at AndyCon.
I'm actually hoping that she'll run it next year at AndyCon. Because
So am I.
I would like to play, but I haven't had a chance to learn the new system. We so this is something that if you get to go, you'll find out. So you've seen this. We have Studio 2 as a distributor here in the US, right? So when we go, we're
Yeah.
kind of under their umbrella. And it's a little hard and a little confusing sometimes for people because they take up basically an entire aisle. And it's a lot of little companies under the aisle. And so Studio 2 has all of our stuff in their warehouse. And I guess Ross says, bring these things. And they put it on a pallet. And then we get there and they bring us our pallet and we get to set up the booth. And we don't touch the money because it's all kept under counts with Studio 2. So we have to tell people to like go over to the sign, and under that is the thing. So it's always kind of interesting because people are always like, why can't you take the money? And I came up with the best reason. You want to hear the best reason?
Okay, go for it.
You mentioned Tijuana one time. One time. Hookers and blow, one suggestion. Nobody lets you take money after that. But it was a lot
Fair.
quicker than explaining stuff. Don't you think that was the best reason?
Okay, did this come up on day 2 when you were starting to get tired, or day 3?
Oh no, I started this on day 1. I just gave up explaining that it's all part of the Studio 2 distribution, and that so that they keep the counts and their cut of everything and all these things, right? I just gave up. I just started going with Tijuana hookers and blow. Mostly just Tijuana. I left out the hookers and blow for most people because, what if some kid was walking
Wow.
by and I got in trouble? What? Doesn't this sound like exactly something I would come up with?
It is completely so 1000% something that you would come up with. And yet, I still have this vision of me sitting behind you with a pokey stick going, no, don't use that one. Try something different.
No, it was the best version. Best version. What? I'm pretty sure it was.
What did Ross think of that one?
Oh, Ross probably never heard because I didn't have enough voice for him to hear. Brad knows about it. I'm just going to blame Brad when he finds out. It's like, Brad knew. He didn't stop me.
What am I supposed to do to stop you?
Not much.
There's
I
a
will say, wait. So to unthrow Brad from the bus, to pull him back out from under the bus, this guy comes over and he's like, you want to do an interview about, Earth Dawn, FASA stuff, whatever. And so he's asking these questions, and most of these things I'm like, okay, Care versus Citadel, and all these other questions. And then he gets to one, and I freaking know the answer. Like I can see it in my head. And I sat there going, abada, abada, ah, there are rules and the rules are better. And I just couldn't do it. And if it wasn't for Brad, I would have failed horribly. But thankfully, Brad was right there and he just seamlessly jumps in and helps me out. So again, thank you, Brad.
Hey,
Because
mechanics are my thing.
I know, but I knew this. I know it's a D6 for everybody. I know it's now 5 above. Every 5 above is an additional success. Like I know it, and I just couldn't. I just totally blanked.
We don't expect you
Yes.
to know the technical answers. That's why I came into the room and helped you with the setup for the stream.
Oh yes. No, you did do that too. So yes, Mr. Pink. First part of the pay stuff goes to rent and food. The rest goes to hookers and blow. Thank you. HR doesn't like you. No, I like you. It's okay. I like you. We got this. But yes, so on top of everything else, poor Brad had to do tech support right beforehand. It was set up the booth, go do tech support. Yes, Todd.
Hey, it's easier to do when you have the computer in front of me rather than me trying to walk you through stuff over the phone.
You know what? I do believe that it was easier for you. But I do try to be a very good tech stupid human. Like, according to Brad, I am not the worst tech stupid human because I don't argue. I don't
No,
pretend like I know anything.
you're not.
I sit there and go, no, I have no idea. You said to clicky the thing, clicky it is. Brad could probably blow up my computer and I would be like, oh, how'd that happen? I would have no idea. But yes, so yes, that was the best part. Like I just told everybody, because trying to explain why you have to go over there, it's just too long. It's too loud and people don't want to. I had one guy who bought a quick start guide for Earthtime, and I tried to explain to him that he have to go over there, and he just walked off. He just shoved $5 at me and walked off. And like, by the time I would get out and around the table, there's no way I could have even found him. I was just okay, and I just gave it to Ross and was like, "There you go,
You deal with it.
your turn." I don't have anything. All right, let's see. What do you think about best Gencon story not involving a demo? Or favorite moment of Gencon not involving the booth or the demos?
Becky definitely got that one already.
Yeah, he did. He's got that one already. Just gonna see if Todd or Brad had a good story. I have a good story, I think. Sort of.
I do not have a good story.
How about you, Brad?
I have it on, not that we can record.
Okay, now you gotta tell me later. Brad and I are gonna have.
I'll be involved. Susan Blow.
I've already told you the story before. It's just we can't record it.
So for me, I was going to the ladies' room. I'm trying to get back to the booth, right? And sometimes, in if you've been there, Ducky, Todd, Brad, you guys can attest to this. They'll get like a group of people all moving at the same time, and you can get trapped in those. And then you end up going the direction you don't want to go, or maybe it's just me because I'm a short person, and so I
Not
got
short. Andy, fun size.
fun
You're
size.
fun
I'm a
size.
fun size person. As a fun size human, I got trapped, and then I'm trying to get back the right direction, and I get myself pinned basically partially into this other booth. And like I was trying to get out, and I got body checked by this one lady, and most people are pretty nice, but every now and then you get that one person who didn't apologize, didn't even, and like it wasn't just the giant backpack where they don't even know they hit you. No, she body checked me, right? And I got whapped a couple more times trying to get out, and I'm just stuck, right? And this lady from the other side sees that I'm stuck, and she just kind of like bulldozes in a graceful way through and across. And she comes over, and I swear she's like a head taller than me still. And she looks down at me and she goes, "Do you need help? I'll help you get out." And the only thing that could pop into my head, of course, was, Why, yes, Cena, warrior princess, I do need your help. I feel like I'm a lousy adult, but yes, warrior princess, I will follow you. And it was just she was just the sweetest lady. And probably the only reason I managed to get back to the booth that day. It got pretty
See,
crowded. Sorry, go ahead.
next year, assuming I attend, because I still got to work out the logistics on my end. If I'm by the booth and you need to go, tell me, latch on to me, and I will just bulldoze through the crowd.
It's most of the
I have
time
a
I
big room
manage to do okay and I can kind of weave, but every now and then I think that with the broken arm, it just made me a little more cautious this year. Because
I have found that when you're in that situation and you yell out over everyone, make a hole, and you keep yelling it, people will get out of the way and make a hole.
Say,
They won't bother looking. They'll just move out of the way.
Ducky, I will say that works well for men. It does not work so well for ladies. Like, for years, what I've used, which, if nothing else, look, because I say make a hole, even if I'm different voices, whatever, just they ignore it. I have to do the honk honk auga, because at least then people will look to see what the heck the sound is. But for men, make a hole works really well. My experience, not so great for the feminine persuasion, unfortunately.
see, I kind
Fair.
of want to see you say this. I would say I would willingly try yelling make a hole, but I didn't have a voice to yell anything.
Yep.
I had no voice for most
I
of the
do
week.
find it's helpful walking with a cane for that reason, just because people tend not to mess with you when you got a big stick in your hands.
It does help. I may bring one next year. My legs were in pain, but I could still move.
Something else, you can work out some good frustration by using it as a pokey stick.
I did tell Chris he earned his American card this year because he came with me. We were coming down there for the first day as everybody's lined up for opening and get through the absolute wall of people in front of the hall before we get to the where they were letting in the dealers. So I just told them we got to dive in. Just follow me. We just barreled through.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever been good at barreling through. But so Lady Styx and I have traveled a little bit together. We've gone to like St. Louis together and things like that. And I tend to be able to just usually somebody will rescue me, which is sad sounding, but much like the one lady, usually somebody will take pity on me and just they will rescue me and I'll just be like, I appreciate you. What can I give you? I will give you cookies.
See, I think they know secretly that you have a stash back there. They're not sure what it is, but
I've got
a lot of
something.
people will do a lot of stuff for cookies. It's the whole baked
So
good premise.
so okay. The year before, so Ross's birthday comes basically most Gen Con years, right? And last year I bought donuts. We had 65 donuts. Oh, did you get a cookie? Which one did you like? Sorry, somebody liked the cookies. Yay. So 65 donuts, right? And then like we can't possibly eat all the darn donuts, right? So we're trying to offer them to people as they went through. Okay? And you would have thought that it was a something curse word trap, that like we were somehow going to sucker them into, aha, you ate a cookie, now spend $300. Like it was the craziest thing, right? This year I baked some cookies and I had two types, and I would just sit there and be like, you have a cool costume, you've earned yourself a cookie. And they'd be like, cookie. I'm like, home baked cookie. They'd be like, yes, home baked. Oh, hi Ernie. No, I didn't realize that was you, but yay. Hi Ernie. So you would think I would get the same reaction, like, no, it's a trap. But people would totally eat home baked cookies rather than the donuts from the local donut person, right? Like they were from a company in the donut box and supposedly like one of the best donuts in Indianapolis and all the whole thing. And those were a trap. But home baked cookies from a strange person that you don't know who just said, I really like your outfit.
Yes, because they can't insult the work that you put into a cookie that you would have pre-thought about somebody like them is baffling to most people. They kind of get this stunned, of course I'll happily accept the tribute.
See, they were pretty good. Thank you, Ernie. They were pretty good, but people thought it was a trap. The donut was a trap. But here's cookies in a house that you've never been in, baked cookies you will eat, and those people ate. But yeah, I made
Well, well, then you got to have somebody come over, eat a cookie, buy something, and then you tell them the hookers and blow story, and then they just look at the cookie.
That's terrible, Brad. That would have been funny. That would have been great. Homemade is better. I made sugar crinkles, which I think you've had before, Margaret. I don't remember if you have. No, maybe not. I don't remember.
Nope.
They're very popular usually. And you can use different colored sugar. I use blue and purple because I like blues and purples. And then I made it's pretty much a ginger snap. So it's a ginger molasses cookie, but it's not technically a ginger snap. Drew made these fantastic, oh my gosh, fantastic pecan bars. And that's
Which
why
he shared the recipe too.
Yes, because I bothered him until he did. I feel bad. Okay, I don't feel all that bad. I wanted the recipe because they were really good. He also made an orange chocolate brownie, but since I'm not a chocolate person, I was told they were very, very good though. No, I do not believe that
Yeah, that's the
Drew does not make anything that's not fantastic.
Yeah, that's the excuse you always give me for my con cookies too, is they have dark chocolate chips in it, so you never try them.
I don't do chocolate. I'm like the worst chick in the world. No chocolate, no wine, no coffee.
I'm not going to call you the worst.
Well, thank you.
I'd say you're downright lovely.
Aw, I bake a good cookie. I've had a few years
You do
practice
tea and
though.
sarcasm. Andy, you do tea and sarcasm, so you can still have the chick.
I did buy
label.
tea. There was a tea place, and so they had basically tea balls with dice themes for like dice charms.
Cool.
So your tea ball could have a dice charm. I was only slightly disappointed they didn't have a blackberry tea that didn't have raspberry attached to it. And I was like, oh, I don't want raspberry. But they had a breakfast tea, so a more caffeinated black tea that was a like vanilla cinnamon. It was pretty good.
Totally up your alley.
Yeah. All right.
I gotta wait for our next 1879 game. Joel, as a gift, actually brought me a proper set of English tea.
So I'm going to tell you something right now. Irish breakfast tea is better than English breakfast tea. Fight me. Fight me, bro.
Well, his was like a variety pack, so there's a whole bunch of them in there.
See, now I should have thought about that. I should have been like, hey, get me some cool tea. But I did one year because I really wanted, because I grew up with, if you didn't feel good, my mom would always make blackberry tea. So it's kind of a comfort thing, right? And the company that used to make it, they don't make that particular tea anymore. So I found one of these places that they make tea, right? And I was like, I would really like just a blackberry black tea. And then what they got me was this, it was a good tea, but it was not a blackberry black tea. It had like 17 other things in it. And I was a little disappointed, and they're like, oh, they didn't realize that I actually meant straight blackberry black tea. After I explained that, they remade it, and yeah. But it's not as easy to find. But it is still one of my absolute favorites. I doubt that Joel can get that in England. I don't know that they would make that there either. I have to like order it now.
Yeah, I don't know that they do a lot of the fruit.
They do a brambleberry. That's actually pretty good. I've had it.
I might try a brambleberry.
Depends on what kind of tea you like. It's herbal. It's an herbal brambleberry, but it's still pretty amazing.
See, I like caffeine because it helps with the squirrels that run my brain. They slow down when you give them caffeine.
Yes, some of us don't have those squirrels, dear.
Oh, see, I just assume everybody has squirrels.
Some of us have too many.
See? Yes. Ducky is correct. We're at about 10 minutes out. Does anybody have questions or comments? Or, tell Ernie it was always great seeing him at Gencon. And that I'm poking Ross about the question. Because, yes, I believe that should be returned to you because you picked up the items. But I am poking
I
him
do
about
have.
that. You have a question?
I know.
I love
Yes,
your
I do.
questions.
I know. I know. As the office ogress, you left with an entire stack of loot skidoo to hand out to people. Question: did you come home with loot skidoo, or did you successfully disseminate it amongst the masses?
I actually got rid of probably 80% of it. But I did save a few things for you.
Well,
because I'm not
thank
stupid
you.
and I don't want to be killed. Because you have this.
It's hard to
Well, I
kill
think the intent was to have some left over so that way everybody who was getting the tickets still had a choice.
No.
I know for a fact she's already working on next. I know for a fact you're already working on next year's news.
Did you guys think that they went over well? So, for those of you who don't know, we gave out one. I referred to them this year as, and probably next year too, as Usin's golden tickets, and the guys doing the game demos and stuff, they could decide who got it however they want, whether it was a lucky draw, whatever. I don't care. But one person at least per table got a golden ticket, and they got to come to the booth and pick a prize out of my very expensive, $5 Walmart treasure chest that was blue because I like blue. So, what did you guys think? Did people like those? I mean, Ernie got stuff just because
Yeah,
I love Ernie.
I thought it was a good mechanic, and it got people to the booth.
Yeah, it's always nice to have something to do.
I was wondering about those. I kept seeing them.
Ernie, your son took your loot. You should have come back. I'd have gotten you something else. I would have. Ernie knows he's loved. Oh no, not the bottle opener. I don't know that I'm ever making those again. Those all started because I said something to Todd. It was to everybody, but I was like, okay, I've got these things and these things. Is there anything else that anybody needs? And Todd goes, a bottle opener. I said, you find me a company that'll make us a bottle opener, and hey.
A keychain bottle opener.
It
Be
was
specific.
a keychain bottle opener with one of the last pieces of art that Jeff did for me. Because that's the Jeff logo that he did for me.
Ernie, you should sit on your kid and make him give it back.
Ernie, let me go look. If I can find one, I will hide it back for you for next year, okay? Because that's how much we love our people here. We love them so much that I will go and try to find one and get Ernie a new bottle opener. Everybody else has to just suck it. But Ernie, we will do this for.
So I have to say, since we're almost wrapping up, that one of the things that I really wanted to comment on that is kind of, I think, I'm going to assume a Gen Con post Gen Con thing, is the Freedonia engineering core. I'm really looking to see how that develops and
So
who signs up
are
and how
we.
it works.
So are we.
It's still in the planning stages, folks. We're working on it.
Well, so it started with so that I got Todd some more people. So he has Phil and he has Dave and Zach. And
That's
we were
the
like, we
monkey
need
crew, right?
that was the demo crew for Todd this year. And so we
Okay.
wanted to give them a place so they could talk about and make plans for next year. It's like, well, we'll do this. And I wanted to name them AS.S. Aether Stream Superstars. And I don't know why nobody would let me name them that.
Yeah, no, that
It's a
Because
perfect
I
name.
understand that.
They all voted for it, just so you know.
Oh, I know
They
they
all-
would. I know they would.
They were all very pro this. These are the same people. So I was calling them booth bunnies and booth babes, right? They unionized and took a vote, and they're no longer booth bunnies or booth babes. They're now booth monkeys. See, thank you, Mr. Pink.
So-
It was a good choice. So we put it on there,
Okay,
and Brad's
so
like,
here's
"Can we
the
make
thing,
it
Andi.
public?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Because I didn't think we'd have that much, like, immediate people jumping onto it.
Well, but you guys also said that you wanted to do it for other lines, not just
We
Aether
do
Stream.
eventually,
Okay,
yeah.
wait,
No, we
wait.
do. But this was a first
here's
of a
the way
just
we
to get them
handle this.
together.
Here's
So,
the way we
but
handle this.
we had the Freedonia Engineering Core thing set up before.
Before when the Earth was green and the company was 40 years ago, but it was like before you were alive, Brad.
No, it wasn't.
No,
we have
reason.
it on the website now.
Okay,
But
That
so
was
wait.
that was
No,
like
it's-
3 years ago.
We've talked about
I
it.
propose, Andi, I propose, Brad, listen to my idea. This is wild and crazy, right? If the individual lines and or teams want to set themselves up, right? You have different branches and teams in the core, and someone wants to use that name, they can be the Freedonia Engineering Core AS.S division.
So actually, it's really
Or
good.
Oh yeah,
Fascinatics or whatever.
Fascinatics.
That
So
is a great way
it's
to
it's
like
great.
get people to handle their own.
It's great to see so many people interested, but now we're gonna have to actually like make some structure and some things for that. But I think we may end up doing like a smaller, text channel for
Yeah.
Todd's specific Gencon demo team. Because it is, and Todd can back me on this, it's slightly different than just running games because it's the Todd specific Aether Stream Gencon demo team.
It's just running games, kind of, isn't it? But I
Yeah.
get where you're coming from.
But you guys were talking about
It's structured like that.
something that, I mean, if you didn't listen to this, you would never know about. But there's talk about maybe doing a tournament at Gen Con next year or the year after, something like that.
Yeah, that will definitely require a lot of planning.
Right. So there are some differences.
And the other thing is, just getting kits out to people that want to run. We're all geographically separated, so coming up with ideas to get a kit together and all that stuff.
You and I will have to like arm wrestle with Ross, but All right. We are almost out of time. Does anybody have a question for Brad or Todd or demands for next year's cookies?
I mean, I would have loved to have tried the cookies.
Becky, I promise next year I'll send a recipe that is cookie-ish enough that it can be handled by any sugar issue folks, diabetics and the like. I have a really good one that has dark chocolate chunks and oatmeal. It's amazing.
Here's the thing, though. I can handle sugar fine. It's just have to do it in moderation. So I do treat myself to cookies every now and then.
Just not mine. Just not mine.
Yeah, Andi wouldn't let me have any cookies.
The hell I wouldn't have. I was giving out cookies. You should have just said you want one. I thought you said you didn't want any because you're watching your sugars. I figure
am
you walk
watching my
enough.
sugars.
You walk enough at Gen Con, trust me, you can have a cookie.
Yeah.
I just
True.
sit and watch my sugars go up and up and up.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I average 15,000 steps a day.
Oh, easily. I was at the booth most of the time, and I think I got that many. The next stream will be a week from tonight. We should be doing these basically every Thursday.
Do we have a topic yet?
No, do we have suggestions for a topic? How great Ernie
Yes,
is.
please make.
Actually, we do have the best fans in fandom. Just saying. Todd, Brad, either of you have a suggestion for next week?
You know, as I offered before, you bring me on, I can do a 10-part series on trains.
You act like I don't want to hear a 10-part series on trains. 'cause-
I know.
All right. I think what I'm going to do is we can say and we can all talk, but I'm going to go ahead and stop this in just a second. And we'll talk about topics and we'll post something, hopefully. All right. 1 second. Everybody say goodbye.
Later. Quack.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, lady. Say goodbye. Lady Styx. Lady Styx.
Yes, I'm here.
Say goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. I said it twice, but I was talking over
Oh.
people because sometimes I'm rude like that.
No, it's just hard because we can't make eye contact. So we don't have body language to help. Goodbye, everybody.